Thank you for joining us for Live Paranormal Radio. From the paranormal to the unexplained, it all happens here. It all happens here. Looking to enhance your radio experience? Participate in our live video chat 24/7 with our Live Paranormal Radio show hosts and other like-minded people. LiveParanormal.com, the only interactive social chat room supported by Full Interaction Media. Stop by now and join the fun. Stop by now and join the fun.
Hello, everybody. My name is Niki, ParaUnNormal, Niki Paranormal, whatever. I don't care. Just be nice with whatever you call me. And you're listening to Live Paranormal Spotlight Radio. And we have an awesome guest tonight. But before we talk about our guest, let's talk about the host of the show, this guy. Most of you probably know him, especially if you've ever heard of Live Paranormal before. The awesome, amazing, dashing, fantastical, and ultra, super, crazy busy Rob. Ew.
I thought you were going to say super cool.
That too. I can't just go into detail of, like, the awesomeness that is you. It's
super
kind of
busy
hard.
sounds like me, but I was think super cool would have been fitting there.
I see.
You have to forgive my my sniffles. I normally would try to get the night off, but I decided against it. I decided to co-host my show. So in advance, if you're listening, it's not a frog talking. It's actually me, and I'll try my best not to sniffle. But now that I said that, I definitely want to sniffle. So it's not. Plus, the word sniffle is weird. I've never said sniffle probably gone back to back as much as I just did there. So.
There's a lot of sniffles in one sentence kind of going on there.
Yeah, it's kind of sniffle. It doesn't really roll off the tongue like manly.
No,
I don't know. It's not a manly word, and I didn't notice that until
really
I said
isn't.
sniffle.
Until you said it, you spoke the word, and then suddenly you realized that, like, admission to the man's club may be denied.
No, when you hear yourself, say the word sniffle, it's like not manly. So I apologize. It threw me for a loop because I was thinking, what a better way to describe, how this interview is going to go with my my voice and the obvious sniffles. But when I said sniffles multiple times, I was like, man, that's not manly. So anyway, we can save that for another show. But I just had to elaborate on the fact that the spoken words did not.
It was kind of neat to experience so many sniffles in one sitting.
It was. I have them, and I'm going to thesaurus the word and try to find something that was more manly.
Good luck with that. Let me know how that goes. I'll be waiting for. In fact, maybe you could write a little book report on that. I would love to know what all the other alternative words are for the descriptive word of the sniffles, because it isn't. It's kind of like an adjective. Describing.
Wait, I'm not really sure how we can segue in from that, but
there is no way. But I'm going to bring on our guest, and would you like to introduce him? So get everybody ready, because I know everyone's pumped.
Let's bring him on. I bet he's on hold. I can see him.
Oh, so you were just going to go in blind?
I think we should bring him on, and then I will announce.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going there. Hello.
Hey, Christopher, you there?
And hello to you.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. It sounds like somebody's sick, I think.
I have the sniffles, and the thing that we were talking about is that I said it, and it's not that manly of a word, so I'm not really sure, what the alternate word is, but I'm not going to use that again. So it really took our whole introduction.
It's going around. I mean, we just went through it ourselves, and thank God we've gotten rid of it so we can get another kind of sickness when we get to the exorcist house on Friday.
I'm excited for that. It was awesome to see you add it to the lineup, and I'm going to watch it. I'm excited. So why don't you introduce yourself? Because I know you and everyone knows you, but I think self-introduction always works out best because you can add in your little plugs and stuff you might want to do. So.
Well, my name's Christopher St. Bruce, and I think mostly I'm a producer of different movies and supernatural and paranormal different projects. I'm also a musician. I put a lot of music out, as well as I'm now a new author, I guess, which is exciting and fun, which is kind of cool. So I've been in the paranormal business for about 10 years, and we used to do stuff with Sci-Fi Chillers, Sony, Redbox, iTunes, all those kind of places like that. And we're having fun.
Well, I had first ran into, I don't know how many years ago, 7, 8, so many years ago. And, I remember watching The Haunted Boy and, thinking how fantastic it was. And then, it was cool talking to you and, how down-to-earth you were and, how interested you were in this stuff. And I guess my first question for you is, how did you get started into this genre of movie? Because it's not just, every day that someone's like, hey, I want to be Spook TV. How did you get started? What made you be? Was there anything that happened, throughout your life that you were interested in this genre, or what led you to it?
Well, I think it's funny as you get older, you start to figure things out, And I think what I'm figuring out now is it might have always been destined to become more spiritually inclined. But as far as my first personal experience, which I talk about in my book Paranoia, that was released in July. Basically, I had seen me and my brother Philip had seen our grandmother in our bedroom right after she had died in England, and we were actually in Canada at the time, and we had seen her in the bedroom, and of course we had seen her exactly at the same time, so both of us had seen her, and that was kind of the first real experience. But as far as, I guess, a professional experience in the sense of when things started to happen, it'd be when we started shooting a movie called Dark Place, which had Matthew McGrory, the giant chap, the actor that was played Tiny in the Thousand Corpses movies and Devil's Rejects. He was in our film, and we shot that in Linda Vista Hospital. And people were saying, hey, did you see that? Did you see this? Oh, my God, there's a feeling here. And so that was kind of like, that was just like playing us up to what we were about to experience when we arrived to do a horror movie in the infamous Waverly Hills Sanatorium. And boom, there we were in Waverly Hills Sanatorium in the Death Tunnel. And that's when my first experience started. I was down at the bottom of the tunnel, and I was scouting, and I was left by myself, which was definitely not a good idea. And I started feeling the feeling of oppression and the feeling of desperation and terror. And I took a photograph, and I ran up to the top of the tunnel. Didn't think too much about it, but I felt very sick. And when I got back to the studio, and about 2 weeks later, I looked at the pictures I had taken and the video audio recording I had recorded. And on the camera, there was a picture of this little girl standing in front of me that had no eyes. And on the audio recorder, there was a scream. And then I was hooked, and I was in it. And then, of course, we started doing Death Tunnel, and that became Spooked, and that became all the other titles.
Now, what about some other places you have been to? I know we've probably gone to some of the same places. Is there like a list of places that maybe have stuck with you besides those two, or is that the only two, or there's multiple ones that you've been doing?
Well, we've been to a lot of places. We try to do places that nobody's done. We were the first actually in the Exorcist house in St. Louis. We were the first to bring cameras in and show you what it looked like inside the scariest bedroom in the world. And we did the first paranormal investigation there. And that was a very scary case, part of our life. I mean, we've been Stanley, Hillsdale House, Roth House. I mean, pretty much everywhere other people have been, but we pretty much we try to do our stories from a different angle, and we try to do them from the emotional side, and we end up finding the story behind the story. In my book, Paranoia, there's about 30 stories about different things that I experienced. Mostly it's about the aftermath or the side effects that you get from dealing with this emotionally in your psyche, and what you start to learn that actually turns to be a beautiful thing, because I believe paranormal can be also very beautiful. A lot of people find it scary, and they seem to underline the word demons too much, when the whole concept of the side is that it's also very opens your eyes to where you're going, so you have a tendency to really enjoy your life now because you know where you're heading. And once you realize that you're not bringing any baggage, and you can, you create the closure, then you can move on comfortably. So it's always been our goal and my goal to be there for one reason only, and that's to help anybody that's lost get closure.
Well, it sounds like the book is awesome. I have not picked up a copy yet, and I'm sad to say, and I will. I promise I will. But what else do you cover in the book, or what else would you like to tell the listeners about your new book, your latest book that you've released?
Well, the book is. I did my. I mean, it's funny because I didn't think I would ever write a book. I mean, I hardly ever read a book. And I'm not much of a reader, and it's like I was a rock and roller for so long, which the book talks about. I mean, when I landed in the United States, I was in this, hair rock and roll bands, and we were, playing at the Whiskey and the Rainbow and the Roxy, and Motley Crue actually were backing us up, and all that kind of stuff. So it was like a whole rock and roll thing. Everybody had hairspray, and maybe that was the damage that was done that I'm still dealing with today. I don't know. But, I mean, Aquanet was truly super glue in a bottle. I mean, no doubt about it. And I used the purple can with the white and
white with like the little stripes and the checkered. I bring that on every trip I go to.
Yeah, he does. It's true.
Fantastic. It's true.
Yeah, but you're supposed to use it, not sniff it.
Right. Oh.
See, that's why he has the sniffles.
That's how it all ties in. That's where the sniffle started, I guess.
Way to go.
But being in the rock and roll business for a long time, I mean, I did that, but it didn't pay, obviously enough to be able to make a living or survive. So I ended up getting into the movie business, and I ended up working for, as basically a PA on films, and then I moved up to the art department, really doing the crappy jobs they were too, really horrible jobs for not even $50 a day. It was horrible, but I was getting, around very big films with very big stars in them, big studio films, and that didn't pay enough for me to survive. So I knew somebody that was working at Playboy, and they needed PAs, assistants, and they paid 3 times as much. So we started obviously working there, but before we knew it, they would, because I guess we were very artistic all the time, that they felt that we could bring, some kind of, we're very hardworking. We ended up writing, shooting, producing, and, costuming, production design and everything, making these Playboy films really high end. Because back then you needed a reason to put sexual stuff on the screen. Not like today, it's completely different. But back then you had to have a story, you had to have big production, or they wouldn't let you do it. So they hired us to make the productions look really big. And the budgets were very big, about $250,000 back then, a movie, compared to $20 now, right? But, and so we worked there for a while, but it was like very tiring. And I think our souls got sick from it, because we were there creating art and even doing the music, doing everything that made them look more like real films. And I guess we were pretending in a way, but maybe not, because it was like a stepping stone. But we just couldn't do it anymore, and we quit, which then became broke again, obviously. But we had taken the money that we had saved from working on those shows, and we made our first independent film, Dark Plays. and that did very good in the foreign market, but didn't do very well in America, because that was the time that Saw came out, and everybody was looking for slasher films, and we don't make slasher films. We make psychological films, because that led to one to the other, to the paranormal, and those took off, and of course, fast forward 7-8 years or whatever it is, I realized I've done a lot of things that I haven't filmed, and that's happened in my life, that I wanted to talk about and share. And a lot of them, some of these stuff, and the paranormal ones, we couldn't put on film because the subject matters were too delicate, like, psychophilia cases, succubus, incubus cases, those kind of cases. So I wrote them, obviously, in the book, and they're very heavy, including, the concept behind the real entity. With Barry Taft had done an interview with me, and we had done that as well. So it's very heavy. It goes through 30 different cases of very different, children, goes from children of the grave, of course, ghost orphanages, to hospitals, sanitariums, prisons, whatever it is, forests, haunted forests. They're always scary because you can't run out of them. Once you're in, it's not like opening a door and getting out. You keep running. And so, I just wanted to write, and it took off for me. The first book really did pretty well, enough to spark the new one that was released just a few weeks ago, October 19th, which is called The Exorcist Diary, The True Story of the Exorcist. And it's basically my adaptation plus the real journal of the 14 priests that had put together the diary of the Exorcist. And it's really what happened in that room. In that room, the hospital and the older house for about 4 months. And it's basically day by day what happened. And it's fascinating. And it's very fascinating thinking that, Chip Coffey and Bishop James Long and the Tennessee Wraith Chasers and all those chaps, and I guess maybe almost 2 million people are going to be inside, looking inside that house that we did. We did it, of course, we did it 5 years ago in a movie called The Haunted Boy, which was changed to The Exorcist File because Redbox picked it up and they wanted to change the title. So they changed the title to that, but it was the same movie. And we were there and we did it, and we learned a lot. Because again, we took it from a different side, a different angle. Like what happened to the furniture? The boy used to write on the sheets when he was possessed. What happened to those sheets? What happened to those furniture? What did it say on those sheets? Of course, we show you, we tell you, and it's basically the script is the diary. And so I released it a couple of weeks ago in book form, and of course. I felt that was a very dark subject, and what I decided to do was give some proceeds to the United States Old Catholic Church for the homeless ministry to help homeless children. So we're giving huge donations from that sales of that book to them, and that makes me feel really good that we can try to make some of these people warm this upcoming cold winter. And of course everything ties in perfectly with the fact that Destination America is in the Exorcist house this Friday.
I'm really excited.
I think you sold me on both books, which is rare.
I know. I never read books.
I have so many.
I never read books either. I never read them or write them, but
I want to read yours, and let me tell you that I don't say that very often because I'm very honest, and I want to read both of these books. Like, I'm actually on my other computer. I have your website up, so.
Well, the thing is,
I shared the link in the
first
chat
book,
too.
Paranoia. What's great about Paranoia, and I didn't really think it was going to work out, but everybody loved it, is that all the stories are short. So you can actually read a story and then put it down and pick it up the next night or whatever you want, because they're different cases. So they don't really tie in. They don't tie in, but they Yeah, I am very ADHD. So, but the thing is, you'll see me telling the story, and then I'll go into my view of me in that circumstance. Now that I think about what happened, so it's kind of like, it's just like dealing with the aftermath of something that was horrific. And of course, the Exorcist Diary, not only is it going to a beautiful cause, it's really cool. You get to really know what happened, and I think that's important, especially if you're a demonologist or even you're a paranormal or horror enthusiast. I think it's really important that you know exactly what really happened, because you fear the unknown. So once you know it, that fear will drift. And now it's a really good psychological, but also a very good serious study of the infamous possession of all time. So it's definitely fascinating. Of course, it goes a beautiful companion to our movie, The Haunted Boy Exorcist File. So that works out well as well. So.
Well, I guess my next question is, going back, this weekend, what kind of thoughts or emotions do you have go through your head? Going back, how do you feel about it right now? What's going through your head and your heart and stuff going into this weekend?
Well, as it gets closer, it's like going to the dentist. Or all paranormal. If you do paranormal ghost hunting, it's almost like also waiting in DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. It's quite boring at times too, because nothing happens. Right. But the Exorcist house, truly, and this is very real, because the thing about the Exorcist house, especially if you've read the diary or you've seen the movie, okay, just to give you an idea, because obviously you guys are excited about this show on Friday. This is how cool it is. Okay, if you remember the movie, okay, with Linda Blair, the house that she is in is basically the house that we're going to. So the concept by saying that is, most of the possession and a lot of the exorcism happened in this house we're going to. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like the bed would have floated up then, would have happened in that house. The scratching, the chairs and books would have flown around. That happened in that bedroom. And actually the diary talks about the bookcases flying around, the mattress raising up by itself. This is how cool it is and exciting, is that the mattress that, obviously happened in the movie did really happen, as far as it says in this diary, and it happened in this house that we're going to. So when you ring that doorbell and you walk up to that door, it's just like you're the guy dressed in black with the black bag and black hat and black coat, and you're ringing that doorbell, but it's you. And as the closer it gets to it, I think the more a little nervous I'm getting, because what happened when we were there happened to our great paranormal investigator from Paranormal Task Force, Greg Myers. Something happened to him when he was in that room, and he won't go back in that house anymore. So he will be there that night too. So,
well, I had a question come to me through Twitter, and I didn't know the answer to this. So, does that house sit vacant throughout the year, or what's the situation with the house? Is it just in the middle of the street and it's a vacant house, or what's?
No, not at all. It's owned by a guy. I mean, I've seen him for a long time. When I met him, he's a very nice chap. He's kind of a goth rocker, and he bought it for that reason, that it was the Exorcist house. There was a for sale sign in the front that said, "For sale, Satan slept here." It said that on the sign. Yeah, it actually said "For sale, Satan slept here" on the sign, and everybody kind of in the neighborhood and underground knew it was the infamous Exorcist house.
Right. Yeah.
So he bought it for that reason, moved in, And when we went there, it was furnished. It was just like anybody's house with big screens and TVs and the whole thing. But in that one bedroom that the boy was in, there was nothing there. He said he was renovating it, but there was nothing there. But we could see the bare floors. We could see the scratches on the floor. We could see the stains.
Oh, wow.
We could see the whole room the way it was. Now, I hear that the bedroom now has been refurnished. So it's going to be different. There's a bed in it now and all that. So it's going to be a little different. But I think what's more, we didn't bring a priest in our show. There we brought investigators and a medium and some other people like that, and they had a hard time dealing with it. We got some incredible EVPs that were very vulgar. Of course, Bill Chappell's equipment spit out some incredible evidence as far as Avi was spitting out the word legion, which is very scary because legion meaning I am many, which is what the devil's name is when Jesus had asked his name in the Bible. So there's a lot of really creepy stuff that happened when we were there, as well as we got cold spots, black masses, just different stuff like that, as well as Greg Myers. His neck basically got so hot that he couldn't handle it. The thermometer read that thermal imager read it was about 200 degrees, and he started freaking out. And then when we pulled him away, we looked at his neck, and he had a white cross burned on his neck.
Wow.
So that was it for him. He was out of that house, and he won't go back in it. He's going to be at the show, but he won't go. He won't go in the house.
Oh wow.
So.
That's going to be an awesome experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think that's funny. I'm as we're talking, I'm getting an email notification. I just got my Happy Halloween Spook TV email blast. Came to my email box.
Yeah,
so
you got
a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. It's called marketing. It's called marketing. Yeah.
So I guess that would be a perfect segue. So why don't you tell people, how to order the books? What's your website or any little sales pitch you want to give? Because it looks like you have some free Halloween skeleton book offers and other stuff going on that I didn't know about.
Yeah, well, basically, basically, as far as the Exodus Diary, we didn't print very many of them. We're obviously a small company, and we do everything ourselves. But we printed a small amount of them. What we do is they're for sale at www.exodusdiary.com or spooktv.com, SPOOKEDTV.com. And with that book, portion of the proceeds goes to help the homeless ministry for the children, which will, they're going to, basically Bishop James is going to take the money and he's going to buy food and feed them and clothe them. I'm actually going to ask him if I can come along this time because I'd love to help. But that's what's going to go on with the money for that book, as well as you get a free skeleton if you order it. The first 100 are autographed, and you get a free skeleton with it. And it's $20, and that's all it is, so that's a pretty good deal. And then, of course, the other book, Paranoia, is that book has 30 different cases and stories on from the different many years I've been through it. And that's at paranoiabook.com or spooktv.com, again. And those are autographed. Those are the first next 100 that are sold are autographed as well. And they're $20 as well. And then, of course, we have our DVDs up there. The Exodus File, Haunted Boy is up there right now, and Spooked, The Ghost Waver Sanatorium, all those kind of things. And if you are a Prime member on Amazon, streaming video on Amazon, you can see a lot of our films for free. They are
I did that. I did that.
If you're a Prime member, you get to watch them for free.
Yes, I did for free, and that's awesome because I can tell you, it's usually whenever there's something that I want to watch, it's not Prime, but when I saw you guys, in fact, it was after I got the Haunted Boy from the Red Box. And I had to see everything you guys had done after that because it was absolutely amazing. I think I watched it 4 times in that 24-hour period before I had to return it. And I didn't want to return it, So I was like, let me see. I need more, you know. So of course I went to
awesome.
I went to the fair and I watched them all, and I was so excited. So very cool.
Awesome, yeah.
You guys do some great
Thank
work.
you, yeah. And then also we have our own channel called SpookTV-OD.com, which is basically Spook TV on demand. So it's SpookTV-OD.com, and up there you can download or buy all of our films, which are not, obviously some are not available on Amazon, and all those kind of stuff. And so, it keeps going like that because I'm on Facebook. If you guys want to look, whoever doesn't know me on Facebook, which a lot of people do, so if you don't, I'm on there. So, you can find all that kind of stuff. But it's going to be fascinating. I'm excited to. I know they're maybe a little more frightened than I am. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the right word, but they're great people. The producers have been really sweet, and they really are very caring about what will happen in the house, and they're very concerned for the safety of everybody. And they've been very true and honest with the story, because I've talked with them, and we've worked together, and I've licensed some of the footage from Haunted Boy for the show. So when you watch it, you'll notice a lot of clips from our film in there. And they tell the truth. Of course, I will be there, and I've already did an interview for them, and basically it's regarding the diary of the exorcist that we've been talking about. I have a copy of the real diary from 1949, and I will be bringing the diary down there, and we'll be talking about it live from the house on Friday too.
That's cool.
Very
cool. I do have some breaking news here. Apparently, my co-host Niki had just purchased both the books.
I just purchased it while we were talking. While on air, I was really excited. I bought it.
You were so hot, baby. You were so hot. That rocked.
I was like, I have to have it. So I snuck over on my other computer, which is a really loud keyboard, so I was hoping you guys didn't catch me. And then I admitted to Rob in private chat.
Well, thank you.
I can't
believe it. For something.
That's awesome.
Yeah, worst case is you made a couple book sales.
Yeah, that's great. And also our new movie, Dead Still, and I think I talked to you about that, Rob, anyway. But the movie Dead Still will be coming out next year on DVD, and we're excited about that. And that will be coming out. So, and there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things that we're working on and developing. Philip and I just shot a pilot for a TV show, a supernatural documentary and detective works, true crime and supernatural, very similar to the real version of the American Horror Hotel. We shot it in the Cecil Hotel. So there you go. We shot it in the real hotel that a lot of that is based off of. And that was a creepy night, I tell you that. That was really creepy staying in that hotel. So.
Awesome.
Well, as you know, we're all about that kind of stuff. So, I look forward to everything you release, and it's always top notch. I've never, saw anything that you've done that I was like, oh, I wait. That happens. Where you get on movies, you get like pumped up to see a movie, and you go and you see the movie or watch it, and you're like, I just lost 2 hours of my life. But anything that you have done, I've always enjoyed. So, that.
Well, thank you. I think I really appreciate that very much. I really do. It's it's a lot of work in the sense that we spend a lot of time researching. So I think that in taking a break from the books, obviously we've done 10 films in less than 10 years. So that's a lot to put out a new show every year of that nature. In the sense of all the research and the editing and the music and the production and the shooting of it, as well as being in it somewhat. So, it's a nice break to take, though I am very anxious I've got some cool ideas that I'm really excited to get started, but we'll do that in the next year, because what I'm going to do, and I'm really excited about, is I want to turn Paranoia into an audio book. And I want to put I'll do two versions, one that, has and one doesn't, but I'll be putting music in it too, and sound effects and the real EVPs in it, and then do the narration. And I think that'll be really kind of like an old Vincent Price type feel to it, And I'm excited because I haven't done that before, and I think as any artist, you want to do something you haven't done, otherwise you start hating your art, and that is destructive.
Well, I think you had me on audiobook because I drive everywhere I go, and
that'd be cool.
Not liking to read. Not that I can read, just to clarify that.
That's good, bro.
I can read good, but
you can read real good.
The audiobook, is right up my alley when it comes to the amount of driving I do. So I'm looking. I'm excited. If you do that, let me know, and I will buy the official first copy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into the studio, and I'm gonna start doing it in November, and hopefully I can do it smoothly, and I have everything obviously to be able to do it. Yeah, it's just something I want to do. It's like a Pink Floyd album, because I love the Wall, the album The Wall, and the movie The Wall. So I think doing a narration to very in-depth music and will put you really in the mood, and I think it'll be great, and I'm excited about it. Because when you read the stories in Paranoia, you can probably just imagine how they would sound read, with the cool music and stuff, because they're very heavy at the same time. They're very spiritually, and also there's a lot of sense of humor in it, in the sense of the silliness that you obviously deal with life and with the business of the afterlife paranormal community. So
right, as we all know. But I think what we'll do is this is my favorite news, and of course I'm extremely biased, on what we're going to talk about. And we have talked about maybe 6-7 times on Facebook over the past couple of weeks, and I'm excited that you're going to be coming out to our SuperCon event in 2016.
Yeah, I'm excited too. We're very, very excited, and we'll probably by that time we'll have so many more new surprises to bring with us too.
Well, we like surprises. We're into that. So, hopefully, we'll talk more about that. But just to let everyone know, you can, meet you guys at the Paranormal SuperCon in Erie, PA, 2016, and I look forward to that and hanging out and all that good stuff. And we have a year of planning ahead, and I definitely appreciate you agreeing to come.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, Rob. We've never really talked too much. Everybody's so busy all the time. I know that we've bumped into each other at Scarefest, I think, a couple of times, and then of course I'm just always so busy I can just not do anything anymore. I'm looking forward to slow down because I get to see my little boy this Christmas, and I'm excited about that. So, so when I get back from the Exodus house, presumably that we are still alive and we are not possessed, I will be going into this audio book.
Right. Well, you know what? If you were still possessed and you came out to our event, I think it would sell more tickets. So
I agree, but I tell you what, that's a great idea, Rob. It's a great idea. You know what? If I am possessed when I come back from the house, I'll do the audio book of the Exorcist Diary first.
Okay. There you go.
And that way I can talk like that. So.
It'll be all natural.
A perfect idea. Perfect.
Well,
idea.
all kidding aside, though, the house is a very serious place, and I know that the media has been just going crazy on it about what's happening with it, and there's going to be so many people that I don't even know where they're going to be and go. It's like, I would imagine, I know the police is going to obviously close all the streets down and stuff too. They would have to. But, I mean, we're all going in there to treat this very seriously. Hopefully everybody that's there will stay serious and stay on the level. But I know that as far as the people that I know that's involved, Bishop and Chip Coffey and I've met the Tennessee Rap Chase, and they're very nice guys and they're very serious. We spent many a nights on the road in bars talking about this gig. So what's going to happen. I think once I spent 2 hours with Chris in the bathroom talking about it, and everybody thought that we were like doing something else in the bathroom, but really what we were doing was talk. I know that we were really talking about, the seriousness. He had told me he had gone into the very basement and felt something strange there, and of course we had also investigated the basement, but the energy we found mostly was in the bedroom itself, and it was a very dark, oppressed feeling. And it wasn't very positive. So you have to bring your happy pills in the sense of, your aura and your good energy and know when to walk out and take a fresh of, a good fresh air, when you need it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I think it could take you over. I really do.
Oh, I definitely agree with you. Well, once again... you're listening to Live Paranormal Spotlight Radio, and our guest is Christopher St. Booth, and we had a great show. It was great having you on, and we definitely appreciate it. We definitely are looking forward to seeing you Friday night and on the TV, and then also we should schedule some kind of follow-up interview so we can hear from you firsthand, maybe some ins and outs of things that you did not show on TV that you did.
Well, I'm afraid I have somewhat of a non-disclosure. I can only say so much, but
you can tell us if someone fell or something funny happened, or you can give.
Well, I think exactly. Well, I think you're going to probably see a lot of seriousness that isn't it's going to happen live on camera. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be cool. I mean, I just know that it's. It's a lot of people have been dogging it, and I can understand that.
I have seen that, a lot of it. And I don't understand why the opinions that people have had on this are in my eyes, I guess maybe being, a part of the paranormal and investigating. And but a lot of people are saying, I've been told that I should not watch it because I'm going to be affected by, things. And, I just...
Well, the thing is, though, darling, is you got to figure. First of all, the dogging I've seen has been, the typical TV ratings and stuff. Well, first of all, I am a producer. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I am a producer, and I do make stuff for television. I've worked with sci-fi off and on for 8-9 years, so I understand that. But see, I do understand that, so I don't need to dog it because I'm feel like I'm an intelligent human being enough to know what entertainment is and what real is. There's no such thing really as a reality show. They're all scripted. The Kardashians are all, whatever, the Disastrians, whatever. But
thank
the thing is yeah, exactly, horrible. The thing is that we, are smart enough to know what's not real, and we understand what they. It's a tough job to sell commercial time on television. So you have to keep it exciting. That's just the way it is. Nobody developed that except that's the way it is. But at the same time, I think when you go to a cool show, like you say American Horror is a really cool show. I really like the new season because it's really over the top. I think Exorcism Live has got that coolness to it. Even though it's a TV show, and you give it granted that it has to have commercials, that's what pays everybody to be there, though most of us are not getting paid. But the thing is that's what pays for the production to get done, and that's important. And I think as far as the belief of it's going to come through the screen and possess you, I think that if you believe that, you shouldn't watch it. Because,
thank you.
In my studies, 100% of the possessions I studied, only 10% had based on possibly real possession. The rest was through mental problems, drugs, or whatever it may be. But you got to understand that it doesn't matter. If you really believe you are possessed, then an exorcism will work whether you are possessed or not, because you believe it will help you.
Because
so if you believe it's
going
to come, if you believe it's going to come through that TV, it's going to come through that TV, and you're going to blame, my my electric bill is like $10 higher this month. Damn you, devil. You know what I mean? You know, whatever. Oh, my refrigerator blew up. It was because I watched that show. You know?
Right.
That's what's going to happen. And it's stupid because shit happens, you know? And two people are so quickly to jump on it was demonic. It was demonic, you know?
Everything's demonic on TV, though, you know? And we've been turning on your TV. Obviously could be possibly, you know, encountering a demon, evidently, from what social media says.
I think the perfect scenario here is if you watch Jersey Shore, does it mean that you're going to be obnoxious and stupid after watching it?
Possibly. I've never seen it.
No.
So if you could be, if you get possessed by Snooki, you can get possessed by anything, I suppose.
Amen to that. Well, I'm going to watch a bunch of medical or like millionaire shows, and maybe it'll just happen, and I'll be a millionaire overnight.
Perfect.
I saw it on TV. I'll give it a whirl.
Well, some of that stuff with, you know, everyone says the numbers and stuff, 666. As Niki will tell you, last week I ran into everything that I was doing. I was getting the number 666. And it wasn't, I didn't run and jump off a cliff because I thought I was going to be possessed by a demon. But it wasn't.
No, but at the same time, you can take it two ways. You can take it intelligently as a sign. You know, there's a lot of signs and steps that you can take to start understanding maybe I should move away from that without being totally divulged in it. You know, I think that what I do is, I mean, I've made, you know, my career as being a documentarian and recording the facts, and even our fiction horror movies are based on, like Dead Stills, based on a real concept of haunted cameras and death portraits, you know. So for me to go to the Exorcist house and do this, I'm coming from a documentarian view. I'm like a news reporter going down there on the front line, and they've asked me to, you know, talk about the diary. And it's funny because, it's not funny, but it's very overwhelming when you think that they're doing a blessing on the house, a cleansing on the house, and a blessing on the house. When the diary starts out about 7 pages in, you know what? You should read that diary before you watch that show. But the thing is, I was going to say is that
I don't know where I'll get it.
Yeah, I know. It won't. But the thing is, it talks. Well, reading it right, you'll get it. We'll ship it tomorrow for you. So
okay.
you
actually,
get it.
I'm going to be doing a live event with LiveParanormal, so you know I won't be back home until I guess Saturday. But then I have trick or treating, so Sunday. So
you'll get it by you get to recap it. But the thing is, the diary talks about the priests go in, and the first thing they do is do a blessing on the house, and that's what's crazy. And what happens when they do that blessing is that's when the mattress starts to levitate, and then that's the first, and then the scratches on the boy's on his tummy starts to appear when they do the blessing. So it's going to be interesting. But remember, that is a blessing on a house with a person that is possessed in the room. This is just what you're dealing with, residual energy that's left over. And so I imagine what first would happen will be some kind of oppression, a panic and fear will probably happen, and we'll see what happens. But it's going to be interesting for sure. Definitely,
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, hopefully everybody will watch it or record it and then watch it later. And thanks again for coming on tonight. And
thank you for having me.
We'll talk to you soon.
I really appreciate it. Okay, well, you guys have a super night. Enjoy everything life has got to offer. Have a great weekend. And don't think of us. Okay.
Be safe. Be safe this weekend and have a great time.
I will. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. I'm so jealous.
That was a good interview. And
I am so jealous.
It is a little silly with the stuff people try to say.
I've seen all sorts of things.
I think what it is the understanding of what's going to happen. It's not that they're like just going off what they might think is going to happen during the show. Because I looked on Facebook earlier, and they were talking about the poor girl who they're going to do the exorcism on, and I don't believe there's going to be any girl there.
No.
So they're just like watching the trailer, and I think there's a lot of shows out there which we talked about yesterday about that live brain surgery from over here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if people are thinking that's a kind of the exorcism, what's going to happen. They're going to try to like do that at the house, but I don't think that's the premise of the show.
No.
I think people are going.
There's no one that's going to be strapped down and having an exorcism. There's no head spinning, no projectile vomiting. I mean, that happens to people who are in there during that. Then I guess that might be kind of interesting, kind of not cool to be in front of, but.
Right, you're going to a place that stuff paranormal has happened, and you're going to investigate it. That's the bottom line. And I don't see, why people are saying they're trying to capitalize off of the situation because there's been
it's a great situation for the fact they're doing this live. The situation itself for some of these people has some history to it, so for them, it's kind of revisiting something that might not have been the greatest experience in their past. But, how many networks take on a live production outside of the news? You can watch reality TV till you're blue in the face, honey, but guess what? It's not coming through your screen live. Typically, that's been pre-recorded. This is live.
But people who are coming back to the scene are coming back not being like, Destination America is not pulling up in a black van, and putting a mask over their face and then taking them and dropping them off in front of the building. So it's not like it's against their will, which would be kind of cool.
There's no burlap bags involved in having them strapped to a chair or anything.
No, that should be an interesting, something that they might not have thought of that we did, because, there's not a live paranormal spotlight radio that doesn't go with a great marketing idea. But people might think that is some sort of, illegal thing, but
some sort of illegal kidnapping situation.
I hope.
I'm kind of upset that we're going to be missing the live show.
That's what I was going to say. I hope people tune in, live show. But I also hope people come in to Live Paranormal, because we will be streaming live from Hillview Manor the same night during the same times, and it's going to be pretty cool. And we're teaming up with
you can always have on your TV. Live Paranormal TV, watching us at Hillview, and you can watch Exorcism live on your TV. The difference between the two is they're going to take their commercial breaks. We aren't going to take commercial breaks unless you are not using the one that says click here to watch the one without commercials, which is in the chat room.
I think the cool part about it is we've teamed up with Oneberg, which is the biggest social site in Pittsburgh, and we're going to be promoted to over 500,000 people streaming from Hillview Manor. And I think it's fantastic. I'm excited about it. It was cool that we got to go there about a month ago and kind of get the lay of the land and see what we wanted to do for this event. So, once again, we'll be streaming, probably starting at like 10 o'clock. We're going to fine-tune the actual time we're going to go live.
Okay, I was going to ask you, because there was a question in the chat as to whether we had posted anything yet, and I said I'm not sure. If you didn't do it yet, I will do it after this show. Because I did make it.
I think we're aiming for roughly 10 o'clock. We could start at 9, but if I put 9 and we're rushing around, and the fact that we're teaming up with the largest social site in Pittsburgh, I'm going to say 10, because I'd rather be way set up in advance than seeing 500,000 people.
There was some logistical stuff I wanted to work out with you anyway, because I'm planning on, if I can get access a little bit earlier than they start the thing.
You're going to tap dance?
Yeah, I'm going to tap dance, sure.
Finally? Finally.
I'm not there, but I do a mean tap number. I know, but no, I can get there a little early and set up what I can set up, on my stuff ahead of time. in the certain areas we had discussed if someone can get me in. But we'll talk about that off air, and we'll give everybody a beautiful set time.
Well, I was excited by it going, and then it really pumped up the excitement, the fact that we are working with multiple outlets to really bring a lot of people the investigation for Hillview. We're getting some featured stuff through Ustream, and then, as I mentioned for a third time, that one bird will be putting the link up live right. And I was getting a message as we were on the show, and he can put it up live or right when we're getting ready to start. So, I looked at there's just a hair under 500,000 likes on Facebook. I think it's like 495,000 people. So it's cool.
Great.
It's cool. It's cool. It's going to be good.
Definitely. Awesome.
And
I'm looking forward to it. And then, I've already got programming for when I come home to watch Exorcism Live, which I guess means that, like, I don't know, could something happen and I'll have to remain off social media so no one kills it like they do for each other for The Walking Dead or whatever?
Right, that's the thing, is if someone dies or something, like, we're going to know.
Well, that's not, we're not going to.
Oh, crap, we missed it. Yeah, rats.
Wow, okay. I don't even know what to say to that. Wow, well, tune in, because maybe he's having a premonition about one of us for Friday night at HillCon. We'll be streaming live right here on LiveParanormal. You never know.
Playing around and with the lights off, falling, and you just never know. We put ourselves at risk for the people, is what the bottom line is.
I do every time I do one of these things because I end up driving with one eyeball open, sometimes with a toothpick holding it up occasionally, or my fingers trying to drive home some of these things.
Well, that's why you always come with somebody, in my opinion. But
well, two really tired people really don't make one. But everyone tune in on Friday night, which is the same night as Exorcism Live. But, you can do two things at one time. I promise it won't hurt. So you can check that out and check out.
The one thing that is kind of cool is you can interact with us through the chat room, too. So we will be taking questions in the chat room on LiveParanormal.com. And, if you want us to say something or do something at Hillview, that information will be relayed to us via our special sources.
Yes.
Which could be not have game plans.
Our Spidey senses.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and thanks for always supporting the show. And I just can't wait for them to watch the amazing live stream from Hillview Manor this Friday. Our Halloween special. Our Halloween special is never
pretty badass.
fail.
Are we
never fail. We are not going in costumes. I do have a costume, though, but I'm not going to wear it.
I do, too, but I didn't know if I had to.
I don't know. Maybe we should. To be determined.
I don't know. Maybe. I'll bring it.
We could tell Jen Anderson that she has to wear a costume when she shows up, and she'll be the only one who can be like, joke's on you.
That would be really mean. I'm not doing that to her.
We
might do that, too, but you would be the one telling us, so it doesn't work that way. But
right,
I am really excited about it. Be sure to tune in on Friday night, everybody, for Live Paranormal TV, live from Hillview for a Halloween special. Stay tuned for Spyre Paranormal Radio, and thank you for joining us. And check out Christopher St. Booth's books, Exorcism Live, and his website, spooktv.com. And thanks. Have a good, safe Halloween, too. Bye-bye.